in terms of political stability. This is a deputy president who is elected by 7.2 billion Kenyans, who has a following of one kind or another, and who have some people who believe in him. And we are having a country that is having challenges economically. We're having people feeling low, feeling down. And then you want to come and poison the political atmosphere. I don't think anybody wants to go into that direction. But if that's a direction whoever is arranging wants to go, so be it. There's nothing I can do. The matter is beyond my purview. Let whoever wants to go ahead with it, go ahead with it. All we are doing ourselves is we'll inform the people of what is going on. And that I will do, by the way, because I have a responsibility also. I'm elected. And going forward in the next few weeks, I'll be talking to my supporters and telling them what's going on, what is being planned, what is likely to happen, so that they are aware. You see, we are elected by the people. We have a responsibility to always inform your employer what is going on, so that they know, so that they are aware of what is going on, because people wonder what is going on. We have a responsibility as leaders to inform the people, because they are the ones who have given us this job. I was not given these jobs by the president. I was not given by members of parliament. The president nominated me and proposed me for confirmation by the people of Kenya. The people of Kenya, by a popular vote, confirmed President William Ruto's nominee, Rigathi Gachagua, as the right person for the job. Right. But the people who gave me this job are the people of Kenya. And therefore, if there are issues along the way that I find disturbing, that I find that they can cause political instability in this country, that I find they can be intrusive, and they can disrupt our development agenda, they can disrupt our political stability as a country, I have a responsibility to go to the people who voted for me and explain to them exactly what is happening. And that I'll do. And I have started today, and I'll be doing that along the way, because I am answerable to some people. I cannot just sit here in Karen. Meetings are going on at night. People are being intimidated. People are being coerced, to disrupt, my term, to stop me from doing my work. And I just sit here. I cannot. I'll go to the people and say, good people, you gave me the
And thank you for speaking to us, which we have to say from the onset that it is at your request to have this conversation. And let's begin from the latest, because we've seen you in the city going around and speaking to the people. You sound angry. Why are you angry?
No, I'm not angry at all. I'm an easy guy.
And thank you for speaking to us, which we have to say from the onset that it is at your request to have this conversation. And let's begin from
As it is supposed to be.
All right.
There is a page with everybody. There is head of public service, there's the president himself, who are in that page. No, they are the ones who handle the president's issues, his movement, hospitality people, security people, who are on that page. Yep. So that once his activities are known, everybody aligns automatically, and there has been a lot of efficiency because you have the information so that you are able to plan, you are able to coordinate. If you are flying, you know, you are going by chopper, you prepare. If you are going by road, you know. But when you don't have that information, then it becomes extremely difficult for my office to align with the president's office.
Help Kenyans understand. So this diary, is it a physical book?
It's a WhatsApp group. It's a WhatsApp group.
WhatsApp group.
It's every day, things now are good with this digital space. It's a WhatsApp group, and it's updated as you go on. And the president updates it sometimes himself, the controller does, and we all keep on aligning. So sometimes he'll have a program, he'll move it from this day to that day. I get into my diary and change mine and align with his. You understand?
So your team is no longer in that?
No, I myself, I was removed. My private secretary was removed. My chief of staff was removed. So we have no access to the president's diary.
Who removed you?
The private secretary to the president.
Who's that?
Yeah, he's called Mayo. I will show you. I was looking for my phone. I wanted to show you. He removed me. So once we are not there, then we don't know what's going on. So let nobody, let no Kenyan, and let those people in State House who are trying to say that I don't know where he's going, what time, so that I'm able to align and give him support, as I've always been doing. But I cannot do it when I don't have access to that information.
Does the president know you're no longer in the WhatsApp group?
I don't know. I've not asked him.
You haven't?
No.
And it's been how long? You said a week?
I think it's about a week.
About a week.
About a week.
And you haven't spoken to him about it?
I've not spoken to him about it. It is only right and fair that I have access. Initially, I thought it's a little bit petty.
Okay.
To the presidential diary, so that I align my diary with his diary, because he's the boss. But if I'm in the dark and I don't know what is happening, I am not an angel to know exactly where the president will be at what time. Then it's not right. So if Kenyans don't see me in a presidential function, I want to tell them today it's because I am aware of the function. And the function they see me in is the one I have been invited. But previously, I had access to the diary. And without even talking to the president or even to the controller, I would align my diary with his, because his takes precedence over mine, because he's the boss. You know, now it becomes very difficult for me even now to work on my diary, because I don't know what the president has. So it has really even made my work very complicated, because I am just there, not knowing what the president has. So I am not able to arrange my events, going forward. But what I'll do, I'll talk to the president at the right time, and I'll see what is the problem.
Okay.
I don't think the president, in my view, will be petty to ask anybody to remove from the diary. I think it's just some handlers around the presidency who want just to create mischief, to portray me as somebody who is disrespectful, and to portray me as somebody who is absconding duty. I am I'm available for duty. I'm available to assist the president 24/7.
Right.
But work needs to be made, straight, so that we are able to work properly, so that I align my diary with his, and I'm able to assist him as it is supposed to be.
All right. Who is the custodian of that diary?
There is a page with everybody there. It's head of public service. There's a president himself. There is a controller of state houses, a deputy chief of staff. There was me, there was my chief of staff, there was my private secretary. There are security people, the people really who handle the president and myself were in that page. And we even share.
What do you mean with the page?
No, they are the ones who handle the president's issues, his movement, hospitality people, security people, who are on that page.
Yeah.
So that once his activities are known, everybody aligns automatically, and there has been a lot of efficiency, because you have the information, so that you are able to plan, you are able to coordinate. If you are flying, you know, you are going by chopper, you prepare. If you are going by road, you know. But when you don't have that information, then it becomes extremely difficult for
Deputy President,
my office to align with the president's office.
Help Kenyans understand. So this diary, is it a physical book?
It's a WhatsApp group. It's a WhatsApp group.
WhatsApp group.
It's every day, things now are good with this digital space. It's a WhatsApp group, and it's updated as you go on. And the president updates it sometimes himself, the controller does, and we all keep on aligning. So sometimes he'll have a program, he'll move it from this day to that day. I get into my diary and change mine and align with his. You understand?
So your team is no longer in that?
No, I myself, I was removed. My private secretary was removed. My chief of staff was removed. So we have no access to the president's diary.
Who removed you?
The private secretary to the president.
Who's that?
Yeah, he's called Mayo. I will show you. I was looking for my phone. I wanted to show you. He removed me. So once we are not there, then we don't know what's going on. So let no Kenyan, and let those people in State House who are trying to say that I don't attend meetings, let them return me in the page so that I know what the president is doing, where he's going, what time, so that I'm able to align and give him support, as I've always been doing. But I cannot do it when I don't have access to that information.
Does the president know you're no longer in the WhatsApp group?
I don't know. I've not asked him.
You haven't?
No.
And it's been how long? You said a week?
I think it's about a week.
About a week.
About a week.
And you haven't spoken to him about it?
No, I've not spoken to him about it. To be truthful, initially I thought it's a little bit petty.
Okay.
But now that the matter has been raised, and I have seen Kenyans have been asking, and I have seen some mischievous bloggers in State House trying to insinuate that I'm absconding duty, I have decided to give this information to the people of Kenya in the spirit of the truthful man, a man who speaks the truth, so that the people of Kenya know exactly why I'm not in those functions. I think I owe Kenyans the truth. Because, again, as I told you, Sam, I'm employed by the people of Kenya. They need to know why is the deputy president, whom they elected, not alongside the president in the functions. I think we owe that information to the people of Kenya.
And do you know why you would be removed?
I don't know. But I have told you, there are mischievous people around the president.
Why are they mischievous against you, Deputy President?
Well, I don't know. How do you explain mischief? People have many motives. People have many motives. They are mischievous people trying to create a wedge between me and the president. And it's been going on for a while. And I take it in stride myself, because I'm also an elder, and I'm also an officer, who is well trained. I was trained in paramilitary. I have tremendous capacity for perseverance and endurance. I'm able to take a lot of flack, just quiet, and taking it in good tiding, because I am quite mature in my leadership, in my approach to life. And many petty things, I have ignored them, because I sometimes I don't want to become petty. So there are many characters around there. You remember, Sam, when the king was here in State House, the king,
King Charles
the third.
Yeah.
I think the president had sent me, I think, to Berlin or to Brussels. I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly to which country. And so when the king was in State House, I was missing. Okay? A blogger who works for the president created a Photoshop. And I know you can remember. Just for mischief and to demean me. Created a Photoshop that, the king is here, working with the president. Then there was a window there. And Rigathi Gachagua had been locked in that window. And he actually circulated on his blog. Until Kenyans complained, then he brought it down. Just to demean the deputy president. And these are people who work for the president. And you wonder why. How come you work for the president? You want to demean his deputy. And I told them, I raised it with them, the head of communication. I said, you think you are demeaning the deputy president? You are not. You are demeaning the president. If there is a perception that the president has locked his deputy in a room somewhere so that the king does not see him, who looks bad in this It's the president who looks bad. So there are many people around the president who are very petty, who are full of mischief, and who are hell-bent on creating conflict within the presidency. I would like to ask the people who work for the president to be honorable and decent people. Let the deputy president have access to the president's diary, unless the president himself has expressly given instructions that he doesn't. Want his deputy to have access to his diary. Is
it a possibility?
I don't think it's a possibility. I don't think President William Ruto would go that down. But if then I am not reinstated, now that I have brought it in the public and the president will know about it.
Yes.
If I'm not reinstated, then it follows. It is clear. And then the instructions
that says a lot about your relationship with the president. You just said that because you've raised it in the public, now the president will know about it. What happened to the two of you?
I don't
know. You are very happy on the day of inauguration. In the weeks before the election, you were very happy.
I don't know. Looking at it, I am not a mystical person. I'm a Christian and a very true believer. But I think it looks like there's a jinx around this office of the deputy president. And President William Ruto had a very rough time with the President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Right.
But luckily for him, he had 5 years to work and work very well without any disturbance. President William Ruto gave a promise, a commitment to the people of Kenya. When he was complaining the way he was persecuted, he was mistreated, he was demeaned, he was harassed, he gave a commitment to the people of Kenya that under his watch, if they elect him as president, his deputy will never be demeaned, his deputy will never be harassed, his deputy will never be persecuted, his deputy will be disrespected, and his facilitated to work and work well. For the first year, that happened, and I'm grateful to him because he did not allow anybody to disrespect me. He did not allow anybody to interfere with my work. But the second year, I must tell you, that is happening. You know, cabinet ministers have been abusing the deputy president. Just the way it was happening during the time of Uhuru Kenyatta. You remember Tobiko called President William Ruto a clerk. Matiang'i wrote him a message, I called him an idiot. And people disrespected him. People were intimidated. People were harassed. And President William Ruto made a commitment to the people of Kenya that if he is elected president, that his deputy will be the deputy president is abused by people on his car, and the president is quiet. Cabinet ministers have been abusing the deputy president. The president is quiet. The president has given many promises to the people of Kenya. Some of them he has not been able to fulfill them because of the difficult economic situations that we are in, and it's understandable. But there's one promise he gave to the people of Kenya that requires no finance. It requires nothing. It requires him to be a gentleman and keep that promise. The promise he gave the people of Kenya, that under his presidency, his deputy will not be abused, his deputy will not be disrespected, his deputy will not be intimidated, his deputy will not be persecuted, his deputy will not be harassed. That, I think, the president, my boss, owes that to the people of Kenya to honor that promise so that Kenyans can trust him and he can win the trust of the people of Kenya, because this is something within his purview. He requires no funding, he requires no financing, he requires no urging. It's a commitment he gave. And he also gave it to me, right, with my wife and my children. When he asked me to be his running mate, I sat with him and my wife and my children, and we asked him, we have seen what you have gone through. If our father becomes your deputy, will he be taken through what you are taken through? And he gave us as a family a very firm commitment that that will never happen. I'm asking these characters for the meetings that they hold, and there are people very close to the president, is that the purpose of the broad-based government was to get numbers so that they can get the numbers from ODM, join the ones from Kenya Kwanza to chase Rigathi Gachagua. If that was the intention of the broad-based government, then that would have been the deception of the highest order. And I don't think people would ever forgive the president if that was the intention. And I don't think, from what he has explained to me, and I'm persuaded that he meant well for the country, and I'm in support of the whole thing. But if it turns out that the purpose of the broad-based government was to get numbers from ODM to join and put them together with the UDA to impeach the deputy president, then the whole broad-based government would have been a deception. It would have been a con.
Have you seen the formal agreement between the president and Raila Odinga?
No, I trust the president, and many times, and many people accuse me of being a bit reckless. I am a very trusting person because when you are trusting, you trust others. The president gave me his word, and I was happy. And if there was any written agreement, I'm not aware of it. Mm-hmm. I took his word that we need to bring these people so that we work together to make our country move forward. The way, Sam, so trusting is Rigathi Gachagua in the Mount Kenya region. But in the whole of this matrix, we are the only people without a written agreement with President William Ruto. We just agreed as gentlemen. I can tell you, when Musalia Mudavadi came to President William Ruto, they have an MOU. With Moses Wetangula, they have an MOU. Jefferson Kingi, they have an MOU. Alfred Mutua, they have an MOU. Everybody wrote an MOU with President William Ruto. I and the people of the mountain, because we are very trusting people, we trusted President William Ruto, and we agreed to move in one party. We did not even form our own party to bargain with or to negotiate with him. We accepted him because we believed and trusted him. And we moved together on trust. Mm-hmm. And what we agreed is what we are proceeding on. So I have never asked the president for any written document or anything. I always take his word for it because I'm trusting, so I also trust.
Do you regret that decision?
I don't regret the decision, but I have had many of our supporters saying that it was an indiscretion on my part. I have not yet interrogated whether it was an indiscretion on my part or not. But many of our people, many of our supporters from the Mount Kenya region think that there was an indiscretion on my part. But I want to say I think I did the right thing because trust is very important. And we give President William our trust. We expect him to reciprocate that trust. Okay. And one of the ways for him to win our trust is to stop the humiliation of the Deputy President.
Okay. Deputy President, I think you've made the point quite clearly. But tell me, even as you move ahead to now manage the broad-based government, you're out of the President's diary, you're not getting communication on the events he's holding. How then do you even coordinate the cabinet committees yourself? Have you chaired the committees since the reconstitution of the cabinet?
No, I have not. I chair cabinet committees, and we used to have 6 cabinet committees. We have collapsed them into. We had a cabinet meeting, I think, on Tuesday, and we agreed we have 2 committees, one on governance, one on production, and I'll be chairing those committees unless advised otherwise. Mm-hmm. And those committees have been very good, Sam, and part of the work that I've done for this country and for the president. I've held 35 cabinet committees since we were sworn in, and we have prosecuted.
You said how many?
35.
35
cabinet committees, and we have prosecuted 333 agenda items. And what those cabinet committees do, they are very, very thorough and very, very interactive and very, very exhaustive, because we even invite PSs, we invite CEOs, we invite technical people, and we do interrogate business of cabinet in a very comprehensive manner, so that by the time we go to the cabinet that is chaired by the president, more or less most of the issues have been agreed on, and the president gives his thinking and he gives his direction, and sometimes he agrees, sometimes he doesn't agree with us, and give it to him. Where he doesn't agree with us, he convinces us. Convinced. And the president, in my view, did very well to set up the cabinet committees, because the president should be a consumer of finance, because he's a very, very busy person. And the kind of work we do here in cabinet committees, sometimes 6 to 7 hours, will be a bit heavy for the president because of his duties. So we continue,
yeah.
and those cabinet committees have worked very well.
Okay.
And I am very, very, very clear that we'll continue to have the cabinet committees.
Right.
And we'll be able to look at the memos that have come, and we'll be able to proceed to the cabinet for the final approval.
If they were that effective, were they being reduced from 6 to 2?
No, what happened is that there were 6, and then we were having issues of quorum. And sometimes one member would appear in 3, 4 committees. So it was becoming logistically a nightmare, that this committee is meeting, then you have to go, you have to come. And I think we agreed in cabinet, and it's a good decision. We reduced them into 2, one to do with governance, it has 11 ministries, the other one to do with production, it has 11 ministries. And I think it will work very well. Okay. And we'll have the first cabinet committee, I think, next week, and we'll be able to process all the agendas that are before us so that we can proceed to the cabinet.
You promised the people, or rather, during the campaigns, you used to say that when Raila Odinga came to the government, under the handshake arrangement with President Uhuru Kenyatta, that's when you lost the Jubilee government of second term. And you said you'd never allow Raila Odinga into your government. Now it appears he has quite a hand in it. Yeah. Is that a deal breaker for you?
Well, I look at it differently. Only a fool doesn't change his mind. We had President Uhuru Kenyatta, our 4th president, brought Raila to government and asked us to support Raila Odinga, which we, the people from the Mount Kenya region, were very unhappy about. And we disagreed with President Uhuru Kenyatta, and President William Ruto persuaded us that Raila is the one who has caused problems in government. He persuaded us, and he's a very persuasive leader, and we were persuaded. President William Ruto persuaded us that if we allow Raila Odinga to become president, this country will not move forward. And as a result, we disagreed with President Uhuru Kenyatta and rejected Raila Odinga and gave our vote to President William Ruto. So when we came into office, it was my agreement with President William Ruto that we will not allow Raila into government. But along the way, my boss, President William Ruto, changed his mind. And he is a boss. And in this situation, Sam, we are not in a co-presidency. I'm just a principal assistant to the president. Mm-hmm. What he says is what carries the day. And I don't argue with him. I may have reservations, and I raise it with them. He persuades me many times. Other times he overrules me. And when I realized that he started having a relationship with Raila Odinga, I slowly gave way, because the boss is always right, and that is why many people say, oh, Rigathi Gachagua, he had said he has put traps in State House so that Raila Odinga does not come. Yeah, that was my agreement with President William Ruto. But that is not my house. The minute I realize they are meeting, they are interacting, I'm also not a stupid person, and I don't have to be told, in black and white. I relaxed, and I stopped even attacking Raila Odinga, and I let the president have his way. So by the time he decided to bring him into government, I had already formed an opinion that the president wants to work with Raila Odinga, and I was quite happy with it. In any case, my brother and long-time confidant, President Uhuru Kenyatta, had told us that Raila is a good man. President William Ruto convinced us otherwise. And we abandoned our son Uhuru Kenyatta, and we decided to go with President William Ruto. Now President William Ruto has told us exactly what us He has told us exactly what President Uhuru Kenyatta had said, that Raila is a good man, we can work with him. If two sitting...
Simplify payments with Kingdom Bank's M-Collection solutions with Till, Paybill and Shortcode. Sign up to enjoy free payment receipt, real-time payment reflection and instant mobile loans via *344# or Kingdom Bank mobile app after 3 months. To sign up, visit your nearest branch or call 0709-881-300 today. Kingdom Bank is regulated by Central Bank of Kenya.
A Mount Kenya king does not pronounce himself twice on a matter. Our son, President Uhuru Kenyatta, had pronounced himself on this matter. So that pronouncement carries the day. As we stand today, me and the mountain people are quite happy with Raila Odinga, and we don't have a problem with him whatsoever. And I can tell you, because it's important that I say so, myself and the mountain people feel very bad that we punished Uhuru Kenyatta, we demeaned him, we told him off, we embarrassed him for telling us that Raila Odinga is a good man, and we were very, very brutal with him, and we really hammered him. It has come to our knowledge that it was very unfair, because his crime was to tell us that Raila Odinga is a good man, and we decided that Raila Odinga is a bad man, William Ruto is a good man. Now that President William Ruto has said Raila is a good man, that is why I apologize to Uhuru Kenyatta and his family. And I owed him an apology on behalf of the community, because what he had told us is what the president has told us. We had no business fighting him. We had no business disrespecting him. We had no business humiliating him. Right. So myself and the community, owe Uhuru Kenyatta an apology. And I give that apology on behalf of the community.
Okay.
And we said, we know, because that's what he had told us. And we were very unfair to him because,
knowing what you know today, would you have made a different decision if you knew that in 2022?
Well, you cannot talk backwards. I can't say what we would have done or not done, but things keeps on changing. Yeah, but now we are saying everybody is good.
You've said that once the king pronounces themselves, the pronouncement stands. Does that mean Uhuru Kenyatta is still the king of the mountain?
Oh, yes. You do know? Uhuru Kenyatta is the undisputed king of the mountain.
And what is your relationship with him?
Good. Brotherly.
When did you do that?
Oh, we talk. You know what happens with our community? We are a very interesting community. We don't fight. We fight very rarely. And when we do, when we realize we fought without a good reason, we patch up.
So when was that? How many months ago? Which month? Which year?
We've been, when we realized we made a mistake, I'm the one who made the first move of reaching out and apologizing, because really we were unfair to Uhuru Kenyatta. We were very, very unfair. Sometime I really feel very bad that I was so brutal on a man who was my great friend, my confidant, my brother, my kinsman. I was so brutal on him. And his crime was only one, saying Raila is a good man. And then the man I said, we don't want Raila Odinga, we want William Ruto. Then he comes and says the same thing. I felt very stupid, In fact, another day, a very senior person abused me at the airport and called me stupid 5 times. And I looked at it, I was very bitter, but I looked at it later at night, and I thought probably he was right. I think I was stupid to fight my own brother, my kinsman, my confidant, for no good reason, for saying another person is a good man. I really regret what I did, and my community does regret, and we are very apologetic to the Kenyatta family. And what happens in my community is a saying that making a mistake is not bad, but repeating is unforgivable. And by the way, let me tell you some. From the experience of my community, myself and the leaders and the whole community fighting Uhuru Kenyatta, our son, a decision has been made by the community. In fact, it's a covenant never again shall the people of the mountain ever fight their own.
When was that decision made?
The people, the Meru, they just talk slowly. That has been agreed on. And that's why you find when a few leaders are being told to fight Rigathi Gachagua, they are finding it very difficult. Because a decision has already been made.
When?
That, like almost a year ago.
By who?
By the community.
In what forum?
Don't worry.
There are millions.
You don't know our people.
There are millions
of people. Our people don't talk in meetings. They have a way of communicating. That is how they drove the British out of this land. By communicating silently. There is a covenant among the Mount Kenya people. That they will never again, ever be confused by anybody, be used by anybody to fight their own leader. They will never do it. And I also want to tell you, for the avoidance of doubt, for those who are trying to divide the Kikuyu, the Meru, and Embu, it's an exercise in futility. Those three are one. And finally, they will be one. And, we have seen these things happen during the Azimio campaign. Mm-hmm. You use a lot of money, you call meetings, you call MCAs, you call people in tents, you give them money, you persuade them, they take your money. Finally, they make a decision. And you see what they did in 2022. I can tell you, this attempt to divide the Kikuyu, the Embu, and the Meru is an exercise in futility. You can spend billions, you can spend money, you can have meetings, night meetings in hotels, in what forums. Okay. But finally, the people of the mountain are one, and they will never be divided, and they will not agree. They have made mistakes before, they will not repeat them.
Deputy President, on the 26th of June, 2024, you were in Mombasa, addressing a press conference shortly after the President had spoken, and you were questioning when the rain started beating the government of Kenya Kwanza, the administration of Kenya Kwanza, and you went out to attack Nuruddin Haji, the Director General of the National Intelligence Service, accusing him that he should take responsibility of the Gen Z protest that led to what we saw at Parliament on June 25th. What was your role in those protests?
None. My statement in Mombasa is on record. I don't want to delve into it. I pronounced myself. I said what I thought of the situation. And that remains my truth. And anybody can challenge me otherwise. I don't want to delve into that statement because it was a public statement for consumption.
Do you stand with it?
I said what I said.
Do you stand with it?
Have I ever issued another statement countering that one?
You believe the National Intelligence Service is responsible for the protests?
I've said this, please allow me. I don't want to go into the merits and the demerits of that statement. The statement was crystal clear. It was in broad daylight. It is still there. You can interrogate it.
Why would you come out and make such a statement about an officer who sits in the National Security Council, yet you have access to him or even the president?
I have said I made that statement. I don't want to go into it. Please allow me not to go into it. That statement I made in broad daylight. You covered it live. It is still there. You can go and read it and listen to it once more.
But in the spirit of accountability, because it was your statement, and I believe you made it after thorough consideration, and you raised issues to the person of the Director General. You said he should resign. You still believe so?
I have said I talked to that day. Sam, allow me to leave it there. I don't want to go into that matter.
Do you think that your tribulations have something to do with how you conducted yourself during that period?
I don't think so. They did not start then. I told you we just worked well for 1 year, and then all these games and schemes started. They had nothing to do with it. That was my own reading of the situation then, and I talked to the people of Kenya as an elected leader.
When is the last time you attended a meeting of the National Security Council?
Well, National Security Council meetings are top secret. I don't want us to
the details.
I don't want us to go into the details.
When is the last time you attended a meeting?
I think earlier this month. I think so.
Earlier this month. Was the NIS Director General in attendance?
Of course it was.
Have you patched up your differences?
No, I don't want to go into the details of the National Security Council. That's a top security organ for this country.
It is not about the National Security Council. I'm asking if you have patched up your relationship with him.
Did I say we have personal differences? I was giving an opinion.
An opinion?
Yeah, on that day.
But you said as a matter of fact
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I won't record what I said. I made a public statement as an elected leader of what I thought of the situation.
What responsibility should the administration of Kenya Kwanza take in regard to the lives that have been lost in those protests?
Some I have said that matter, I addressed it comprehensively. Let the rest there.
I'm actually not talking about the statement. I'm talking about the killing of 60 people, at least 60, as reported by the Kenya National Human Rights Commission, KNCHR, which the government is yet to admit about the total number. The last, I think we have from the president, about 40. By the way, how many people died in those protests?
You asked that question to the president. He's the chairman of the National Security Council. I don't want to talk about security matters and operational issues because I am not competent enough to address operational issues in the National Police Service.
You're the deputy president.
I am, but I don't comment on operational issues. I'm a very disciplined deputy president. I know my space.
You don't have information about how many people died?
I am not going to comment on operational issues to do with the National
That's
Police
not an
Service.
operational issue. It's a fact. It's a statement of fact.
It's an operational issue.
The cabinet, in different dispatches, indicated that compensation was going to be given or granted to families that lost their loved ones. What is the progress about that?
You would have to check with the minister who is responsible for the implementation of the cabinet decision. You see, once we have met in cabinet, every line minister takes the responsibility of implementing the cabinet decision. So I don't have the facts because I have not asked for that answer as to how far we have gone with the implementation. I would advise that you seek out the minister.
How important is that matter to you?
Very important.
But you have no information.
Yes, because I have not asked about it.
Why?
I have many things that I need to ask about every day. And when the time comes, we'll get a report. In any case, you are aware we have not had cabinet for a long time. The first cabinet committee, the inaugural committee, met this week. We have not had cabinet meetings almost 2 months, I think so.
So the last one was, I think, July,
yeah,
early July.
I think so.
Then cabinet was dismissed on July 11th.
I think so. For almost 2 months, we have not had cabinet meetings.
So what should we do? What should the country do? Because they're waiting for answers. There was a promise by the president.
You follow up with the minister responsible for that particular docket. Because you see, once cabinet has met and made resolutions of cabinet, it is in cabinet upon the respective cabinet secretary to follow up and implement what the cabinet has decided.
What are your thoughts? Because the Gen Z-led protests were because of the Finance Act of Finance Bill 2024. Why didn't your administration listen to the people, and what responsibility would you take?
You had my statement.
We are here. We are speaking
but
to
I'm
the
saying,
president.
Sam Gituko, I gave a very comprehensive statement in Mombasa.
And he doesn't have to
what I
repeat it.
felt. I still feel the same way.
That
we must listen to the people. That was my position.
So why didn't the government listen to the people?
Sam, I've pronounced myself on that matter.
Please give me an answer, Deputy President. Why didn't the government listen to the people?
But we listened to the people. We shared the finance bill. But already too much damage had already occasioned, and that was the gist of my statement.
So why did we have to keep that?
That is the question I was asking. Do we have to wait for things to get to this magnitude for us to act? That's what I was asking then.
Before that time, did you try to propose the voice of reason to those that...
I always do. And quite a number of people are uncomfortable with me for always speaking the truth and saying that we need to listen to the people.
And what happened if you raise those issues?
Well, I cannot give you details of what happens in cabinet. Cabinet meetings are top secret, and I am bound by...
I'm not talking about cabinet meetings.
No, these forums, my opinions, are given in cabinet. I cannot divulge to you what my opinions were, because I will be in breach of the oath of secrecy.
You know, you told me that you're accountable to the people of Kenya, and if anyone has a problem with you, they should actually consult the people of Kenya if they're disappointed with you. But you're here, I'm asking you a question about your role in making sure that what happened on June 25th didn't happen, but you won't explain.
But I have explained to you. I was very clear. I pronounced myself on the matter. That we need to listen to the people more. What more do you want me to tell you? That is my stand.
I'm asking what happened that who was not listening? That's what I'm asking.
I've told you some. I have said we need to listen to people all the time.
And if you made that counsel to whoever, who is that didn't listen to you?
I don't want to apportion blame. I made my pronouncement that it is good as people's employees who we are, we must continuously listen to the employer, the people of Kenya.
For the first time, people died at the entrance of Parliament. When that happened, you were the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. What responsibility do you take?
I pronounce myself on the matter.
Please give me an answer.
No, but what answer do you want me to give you? I said what I thought about the matter. The answer is in my statement.
And you're here. That was June.
No, but I'm saying the statement is there.
Okay to repeat it.
No. Why do you want me to repeat it?
Because I'm asking the question.
You have it in your archives. My answer to what happened is in my statement.
Why don't you want to talk about this?
But I said where the blame lies. The statement is there. Why do you want me to go into it? I said. I have not recanted that statement. I still stand by it. So go and look at the statement.
Why don't you want to talk about this?
I don't want to go into it.
Because?
Because I don't think it is necessary. Because my statement was very explicit.
Over 60 families are still waiting.
But my statement was very explicit.
For answers.
I made myself
No action
clear.
has been taken against any police officer. Are you bothered by that?
You know whom you need to ask that question.
I'm asking
who
the
is supposed to take the action?
Sorry?
Who is supposed to take the action?
You tell me.
You know.
Who?
What are you saying? What do you want me to tell you? You know I'm the Deputy President.
Exactly.
You know who is supposed to take action against police officers. Go and ask them that question.
Who?
You know.
I wish you could tell me the answer.
No, I'm not. Why do you want me to help you to do your research?
I don't want you to help me. Just respond. Kenyans, it's not about
I am not going to
Kenyans are watching.
Kenya, you know, you tell the Kenyans, you know. Go and look for that person and ask that question. That is not my question. I am not in charge of that docket. So I cannot answer a question that doesn't belong to me.
So you say we should go to the Interior Ministry?
I don't know. If you think that's where you need to go, proceed.
Now, Deputy President, there are those that accuse you that you have been given duties in the Constitution and the Executive Order number 2 of 2023, but you have not been very successful in delivering. Talking about illicit brew, questions of coffee, tea and milk. You made promises.
Some. I was given many duties. One of them is to chair cabinet committees. I've chaired 35 cabinet committees and successfully prosecuted 333 agenda items to the cabinet. If anybody wants to call that underperformance, then my English fails me. Number two, I'm in charge of intergovernmental relations. Since I became the Deputy President, I've created the most conducive environment ever between the two levels of government. Before we came to office, the county governments and the national government were at war. And through good leadership, through bringing people together, I was able to put our county commissioners together with our governors and tell them that we serve the same people. I have successfully held IBEC meetings. We have discussed the division of revenue bill, and the devolution agenda is ongoing. That is Rigathi Gachagua who has done that. Rigathi Gachagua is in charge of international development partnerships. I have chaired the Development Partners Forum. I've held meetings with our development partners. I have made all the necessary interventions between the National Treasury, the Attorney General's Office, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to unlock billions of dollars that were held because of bureaucracy, because there was no liaison between the development partners and the national government. I am in charge of constitutional commissions and independent offices. I have held meetings with constitutional commissions and independent offices, the Chief Justice, the Attorney General, the Inspector General of Police. For the record, there was a very big dispute between the Inspector General of Police and the National Police Service. Through my office, I mediated and solved the problems. They used to exchange insults in the press. You have not seen that anymore. That is work that I did. I have successfully mediated differences between the Ministry of Education and the Teacher Service Commission. And you can see they are working in harmony. Again, Sam, right. I'm in charge of the development program by World Bank of about $3 billion for Northern and Northeastern Kenya. I have successfully held meetings and organized for fast-tracking of programs in Northern and Northeastern Kenya for those counties funded by the World Bank. Again, that is work in my office. In matters coffee, the president assigned me to lead coffee reforms. He did not tell me to take over the Ministry of Agriculture or to take over the Ministry of Cooperative Development. He asked me to initiate and drive coffee reforms. I held a very successful coffee conference in Meru and brought all the partners, all the stakeholders together. And out of that conference, we have worked with those stakeholders and come up with the Coffee Bill 2023 that is now before the National Assembly. In that bill, we have recommended the re-establishment of the Coffee Board of Kenya to market coffee for farmers so that they can get away from private entrepreneurs. We have recommended the revival of the Coffee Research Foundation so that we can work on variety and disease-resistant varieties. And we have come up with a direct sales settlement where farmers sell their coffee directly and receive their proceeds directly. Under my watch, we have reopened the Nairobi Coffee Exchange, and auctions are taking place every week. Once the Coffee Bill 2023 is approved by Parliament, accepted by the President, all the reforms that we have been working on will be complete, and farmers will get their money. And I also want to say, through our intervention, a lot of coffee societies are getting over 100 shillings in terms of pricing. Where we have challenges...
That's per kilo?
Yeah, per kilo. And our ideal price is about 150, and we'll get there. There is a factory, I think, in the Gariama in Kirinyaga with about 122 shillings. And I want to assure you that once we have another bill before Parliament, the Cooperative Bill of 2023, to deal with the governance and integrity issues around cooperative societies. Once that bill has been approved and assented by the President, it will strengthen leadership in cooperative societies. Where you see a lot of demonstrations, it has nothing to do with the pricing. It has a lot to do with the mismanagement of coffee farmers' earnings by wrong officials. The Cooperative Bill of 2023 will address that. And that is why people must know. I've seen some politicians trying to attack me about coffee. Where they come from, they don't even have coffee. They don't understand coffee. I was educated with the coffee proceeds myself. And I know once this bill becomes law, and I'll assist in the implementation of that law, farmers will be very happy. But I want to tell people, the fact that I was overseeing coffee reforms did not make me the CS for Agriculture or for Cooperative Development. The day-to-day running of the coffee subsector in terms of production, in terms of yield, in terms of quality, belongs to the Ministry of Agriculture. The day-to-day running of marketing coffee, overseeing the cooperative societies, that docket is in the State Department of Cooperatives. Okay. What I'm doing is overseeing reforms. In matters tea, Sam, I held the tea conference in Kericho. Again, we brought all the stakeholders. And I want to tell you, there were a big problem because of the Tea Act that was